What can we learn about American English pronunciation from Daft Punk? Hey guys, this is Jeff with Fluent American, and in this video we're going to be analyzing the pronunciation of Daft Punk to try to pick out some tendencies that we can identify in American English pronunciation. We're going to be highlighting some things that they're already doing in American English, and also some things that American English will do differently than their own pronunciation. Now, it can be relatively difficult to find audio samples of them speaking English, so we're going to be focusing just on a small snippet, but we've already identified several things that I think are really going to help your English. Starting with
humanly challenging that working with 30 or 40 people.
How about these numbers? 30 or 40, 30 or 40. Notice the difference between the T sounds that I produced and the T sounds in the original.
30 or 40 people.
What you're often going to hear in the US and North America is these T sounds that come after an R and before a Y. They're often going to become like a fast D or a flap T sound. Now, we talked about this in the previous video before, but just for our purposes now, know that the sound is typically going to sound more like 30 or 40, where again you have that fast D sound on that T. Also, you could reduce that last syllable a little bit more. 30, 40. Doesn't need to be like 30 or 40. It's more just 30, 40. How about our next sound?
30 or 40 people.
It's that L at the end. People. People. I have a lot of students that struggle with words that end on L sounds. They'll say like people or things like that.
People.
And you want to make sure that you're lowering the front of your tongue so you can keep it down. And also you can close your mouth more. People. Oh, people. People. You may be looking at that L and think, but Jeff, you need to make contact with the top of your mouth for that L sound. But this is really going to be more of a dark L, where you're just kind of raising the back of your tongue a little bit, but actually lowering the front of your tongue. So you don't need to make contact for that L sound with the top of your mouth. Again, it will just sound like people, people, holding the front of your tongue down.
Together on a work of art.
For French speakers, the R sound in English, especially in American English, can be very tricky because it's obviously going to be pronounced very differently. The back of your tongue is going to be high, and you're also going to curl up the front of your tongue, and it's, again, more like an sound, So, for instance, in this word, together, together. Also, art. Compare that again to the original.
Together on a work of art.
How about this next sound?
And this kind of collaborative process is good.
Collaborative. What you're seeing here is that first syllable getting reduced. Compare that to the original.
Collaborative.
Notice the difference with mine is that first syllable will be reduced. It's more of a k. This is because the stress comes in a later syllable. So what happens often in English is that if a syllable is not stressed, it will become reduced. And that's exactly what you're seeing here. Instead of collaborative, you're seeing more collaborative. The syllable is said faster and the vowel sound changes to more of a schwa. Now listen to this.
Kind of very shy in a way, and
don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I really like what they're doing here in terms of linking. The N sound in in is attaching to that sound. So like inna. Instead of saying in with some noticeable separation, English is going to use lots of linking. If a word ends on a consonant and the next word starts with a vowel sound, you can attach them just like you hear in this original audio.
Shy in a way. And
here's another thing I like too. Really quick though, if you're looking for daily pronunciation practice and feedback, you should check out our pronunciation group on Telegram. More info at patreon.com/fluentamerican.
It's not as humanly challenging that working with 30.
Listen again to how he says not.
It's not.
So this is using a held T or a stop T, where basically you tense your throat or your chest so that way air cannot escape. This is going to be very common in North America with T sounds. So instead of pronouncing this, it's not as, that T, that T sound is going to be removed. So you're just going to hear it's not as. If you notice other aspects of pronunciation that you thought were interesting here, be sure to leave a note in the comments.